would you say to the African American community in Florida about your time as lieutenant governor, or since you've been in, what would you want them to know?
What I want them to know is that they have had an advocate with me being in this position. I go back to the budget time where we had one historical black college that was funded, that was sent from the governor's budget to the legislature. All four received funding because of my involvement in making sure that those colleges and universities were not on the veto list with regards to the monies. $8.77 million went to our HBCUs, and many other programs across the state of Florida that impact our minority communities were saved from being vetoed, including a pharmacy school for FAMU out of Crestview. And with that pharmacy school going in, it's going to afford a pharmaceutical company to come into the area that will partner with the students at FAMU and the pharmacy school, again, creating the jobs and creating a climate there where you have sustainable job growth and opportunities for our citizens to have a good quality salary. So, and this of late, I received a call from the superintendent in Miami-Dade School, Superintendent Carvalho, telling me about the issue with Edison and Central possibly not receiving a waiver and being closed down. So what are the options? Well, you have no charter school or no private entity that has stepped into an urban area high school and changed things around. So we can't just displace those students and say you're going to go somewhere and it's up to the school board. But what's most important is that under Superintendent Carvalho, he's made changes that has resulted in improvements to those two schools that were F schools throughout all these years, and they went from an F school to a C school within a year and a half to 2 years. That is showing marked improvement because of those changes. And the waiver request was, let's see for another year to make additional improvements and also look at the measures. If we continue on the same path of showing improvement, then these schools should not be on the list for closure. So I stepped in and contacted the board members and let the governor know that this was a position that we need to make sure that we support the schools in staying open, and he has agreed that those waivers should be granted. And this morning he's going to make the announcement to the superintendents that this is the right thing to do because they've been doing all the right things and changing out the principal and changing out the teachers, and results have shown to math improvement, reading improvement, more AP classes being taken, and the school moving from an F school steadily to a better grade school than we've seen in the past. So that's one thing, a couple of things I'd like your readers to know, but they won't see that because they're not hearing that side of the story. They tend to hear all the negatives and the rhetoric, but what our voters and our citizens need to do is do their own homework. If there's ever any question, my office is an open door. They can easily contact the office and find out what's going on. They can visit me on Facebook and see what I'm doing and get the information. They can send an email, and I get a number of emails, and we respond to them. If there's an issue that's going on, people don't understand, and they're whining and complaining and griping, and we send them in the right place or give them the right information so they can have a better understanding. Just the other day I was down to South Florida and on a Hispanic radio station, and they were upset that 2 items got vetoed from the budget. So they thought that the programs didn't get funded, but the programs did get funded. It was the members asking for an increase of $10 million for these programs in a time where we don't have extra money to give increases to programs. So once I explained that, they're like, oh, they didn't tell us that. So that's why it's so important for us to just keep our pipes down a bit and get the information and facts from the people that are the decision makers before we really get into an uproar.